Today I want to introduce you to the new pantheon of modern times. It has no gods, but it has interpreters of the divine. It has no inquisitors, but it has algorithms of goodness. It has no bonfires, but it has mandatory silence. We live in an age where the word has been domesticated. The verb now has an identification number. And those who think differently, well, they say it's at your own risk. The last dissent. They say justice is blind. But I ask you, is it really? Because some people trip over a comma and are already condemned, while others walk over corpses and get decorated. It seems to me that this goddess of justice only opens her eyes to decide who will live in peace and who will have their home raided early in the morning. And if you complain, oh, poor soul. Complaining is almost an act of defiance against this new moral order. See, morality today isn't taught, it's imposed. No one debates what is right anymore. They simply repeat what has been declared right by those who hold the microphone, the robe, or the password to the algorithm. What used to be judgment has now become liturgy. The new faith does not tolerate doubt. The believer who questions is a heretic, and heresy today doesn't lead to the stake, but to cancellation, to blocking, to censorship, beautifully decorated with good intentions. Behold the new throne of morality, a pulpit where the saints declare themselves pure, and the sinners aren't even allowed to appeal. But don't worry, it's for your own good. It always is, isn't it? Today's saints don't live in the desert. They sit in offices, in chambers, in halls where they dictate what can be thought. The new holiness doesn't demand sacrifice, it demands compliance. You don't need to be good, you just need to look like it. Wear the morality of the day, repeat the mantra of the moment, hold up the right sign. Have you noticed? Those in power no longer need to command, they just set the tone of the sermon, and the devotees do the rest. They correct you, watch you, expose you. They are the faithful of the new digital orthodoxy, the inquisitors of the timeline, with their damn mouths full of empathy and their fingers thirsty for lynching. And the strangest part? They actually believe they're the good guys. As if morality, now manufactured by a supreme council, that is, by themselves, were eternal, infallible and divine. But of course, it always depends on who, doesn't it? With every new fashion of virtue, a new bonfire is lit, and someone must burn. See how clever the game is. They convince you that thinking is dangerous, that doubting is madness, that questioning the system means you're an enemy of peace. And you, afraid of seeming wrong, have learned to repeat without understanding, to applaud without reflecting, and to pay. Always to pay. You accept inflation as if it were a summer rain. It soaks the poor first, but they say it's natural. Food prices double, rent devours your soul, and you still say thank you when the government promises some help. Help that comes from what? From the magic printing of money. But printing money is like diluting wine with water. It looks like there's more, but there's less. The worker loses value, the banker gets a bonus, and the parasite applauds from the balcony. And the people? The people learn to live with less, and to say thank you. Don't fool yourself, damn it. The shackles of today are invisible and far more effective. In the past, the slave knew he was a slave. Today, he thinks he's free because he can finance his own cell in 10 years. Debt has become citizenship. Having is more important than being. And the more you have, the more your soul worships at the temple of the creditors. Banks don't lend money. They sell obedience. You don't work to get rich. You work to pay interest and fund lobster dinners in the name of a dignity you'll never find. And the government? The government is a partner in this factory of sophisticated misery. It taxes what you earn, what you spend, what you own, and even what you dream of. Even what you leave behind after you die is taxed. They call that civilization. To me, it looks more like parasitism with a legal coating. They say you're free. Free to choose between two lies wrapped in different labels. You vote for a servant thinking you're overthrowing a master, but the ones who truly rule never appear on TV. The stage changes, the actors switch costumes, but the script was written long before your birth certificate. Democracy? Remember, democracy chose Barabbas. Money doesn't buy truth. It silences cowards and funds lies. In every sphere, religious, academic, media, political, scientific, you name it, They control what you read, what you hear, what you feel, and worst of all, what you're afraid to say. And when the truth threatens to slip out, they call it dangerous speech. Dangerous for the empire of the untouchables, of course, the owners of truth, the editors of reality, the grand masters of illusion. But honestly, nowadays you've got to be a complete fool, like a pro-level idiot, to believe these bastards. And even worse, there are people who defend them. But that's not just a symptom of stupidity. Words are dangerous. That's why they're watched more closely than borders. To control vocabulary is to control what can be thought. If you can't name what you see, soon you stop seeing it. They replaced censorship with guidelines, persecution with curation, and truth with adaptable versions. They twist meanings, criminalize ideas, and convince you that to question is to hate. What begins with you can't say that ends with you can't even think that. And the people? They learn to mumble safe words while critical thought rots in the basement of the mind. This isn't the future. It's happening right now. Small tyrants, filthy and cruel, fight among themselves, defending A or B, believing in speeches that sound beautiful, fragrant and fluffy, while they cover their eyes to the most nefarious actions. Inflation doesn't just attack bread, it attacks the soul. Today, even virtue has become an inflated product. Honesty has turned into a luxury, empathy into a brand, and character into a word far too old for the vocabulary of the new order. You applaud criminals with beautiful speeches, but counsel the righteous for being too blunt. You've traded what's right for what's pleasant, what's real for what's politically acceptable, and then you call that evolution, progress. But what the hell? There's no merit, no truth, only marketing. Ethics has become a hostage of the algorithm, justice a militant influencer, and morality, that's become like the currency of a collapsing nation. Everyone pretends it has value, but no one trades it for anything. Have you noticed you're living on a loop? You wake up tired, work to pay bills, complain without listening, repeat without thinking, and when something bothers you, you buy something. Feeling empty? Scroll the screen. Sad? Watch a video. Frustrated? Blame the other side. They taught you how to numb the pain, but never how to understand what caused it. You react to life like someone pressing an elevator button, hoping to go up, even though you know it's always broken. And the worst part? You still thank the machine, because deep down you're afraid of what life would be without it. But tell me, is that living or just surviving? The most dangerous truth of all is that the door isn't locked anymore. The cell is open, but you don't leave, because if you do, you'll have to face your mistakes, think for yourself, carry your own choices, and give up the privilege of obedience. Damn, you'll no longer have anyone to blame, no one to save you, no promise of a state-made paradise. And that's when you realize it wasn't the system that imprisoned you. The system merely suggested a behavior for decades, day after day, and you were gradually trained with crumbs, with lies that pleased your ears, with a carefully edited reality that doesn't stand on its own. You were the one who surrendered, in the name of safety, comfort, and the illusion of freedom. Want to get out? Then stop asking for permission to live. Stop dreaming every night and wake up to the nightmare of everyday life. Take responsibility and move forward. Just imagine living for the truth, taking steps and actions every day that will make you greater, purer, and aware of who you really are. And if you don't like what you see in the mirror, then you're on the right path. The next step is to deny yourself. Only then will you know who you truly are. Try it for a week, and then another, and then another. See the result, and don't look in the mirror. The empire of lies only works with your collaboration. They don't have power, they have your consent. With every silence of yours, they advance. With every act of blind obedience, they become eternal. You don't need a new king, nor a new law. You need courage. You don't need permission. You need to rise. Freedom isn't negotiated, it's earned through sacrifice, clarity, and action. They have the cathedrals, the pulpits, the thrones, but you have the spark that ignites lies and illuminates darkness. The question is no longer, what have they done to you? The question is, now what? What will you do with it? Well done, rational creature. Or almost. If you've made it this far, congratulations, you're officially dangerous to the system. But relax. You don't have to storm anything or wear a cape. just hit subscribe, because this is the only place where ancient philosophers explain why your paycheck evaporates while bankers keep shining brighter than gold. Leave a like if your head hurts. That's a sign there's still some brain activity left. Comment, but not with "loved it," "amazing," or fire emojis. Comment with something that will provoke someone else. Because in this modern theatre, the algorithm is the new oracle. And it needs your help to understand that here we don't sweep things under the rug, we rub them in your face. And of course, share this video with that friend who still thinks democracy means accepting everything in silence, smiling and paying taxes. See you in the next video, or at the next collapse.